I'd like to turn this over. We've done a couple of videos, and thank you, Linton, for doing this about his experience and walking through being part of a clinical trial and being part of these particular clinical trials. So he was on the Vorasidenib trial where they gave everybody drug for about a month before surgery and then took out the tumor sample to see if the 2-hydroxyglutarate actually decreased. He's one of the first cohorts to participate in the neuro-oncology peer-to-peer volunteer support groups here at UCSF since 2020. And he's also founder of Expert Patient in service to the brain cancer community worldwide.
I had a recurrence of my tumor after I was taken off my first chemotherapeutic agent in mid 2018. And my tumor was growing by leaps and bounds. And so in August, I met with Dr. Taylor with my family and I asked what my options were. And she said, well, we're going to have to resect your tumor again because Dr. Berg couldn't get more than 2/3 of it out. So I was looking at that again. And my options after that would be radiation, which we've been trying to avoid. I'd made the conscious decision to avoid that along with Dr. Taylor and Dr. Berger. And then it'd be on to a Timodar. And I didn't want to do that. And she said, well, there's a possibility you might be able to take Vorasidenib, a new agent. So you have to start doing that immediately. And we'll operate on you exactly 28 days later. And if the tumor shows response to this new targeted therapy, we'll keep you on it as long as it works. And so that's how that happened. And I had to go immediately on a protocol. My understanding was there were only about 25 people on the planet who were on that drug. And I'm one of the few survivors of that original phase 1. And it was rigorous, shall we say. This targeted therapy is nothing like the chemotherapy agent that I was on before. I think mentally, I am in a much better situation than I was when I was taking everolimus, my first chemo. I haven't had radiation, of course. That's another thing. It's enormous. I think my overall health is better than I could ever imagine. And it's not just physical, it's mental. I belong to a support group, a peer-to-peer support group at UCSF, which has been absolutely instrumental in getting me out of my shell and making me realize that this drug has given me a new lease on life. I mean, my Dr. Taylor made it very clear that I didn't have many options right before I started on Vorasidenib, and I'm really glad that the opportunity came along that I was able to be pretty much the last person to join that first phase 1 trial. So I'm doing much, much better than I could ever imagine 5 years ago. And I really reclaimed a sense of independence, which I didn't have at all when I was on my first chemo, where I was completely obliterated by all the physical effects and the mental effects and the chemo brain. This drug does not have the chemo brain effect. It has it, of course, after I take the pill. So this teeny little pill, which we take every day, which is incredibly expensive. Hopefully it won't be all that much for everyone, but here's my pill container. That's my lifeline. And I think mentally, it's just as important. The encouragement that I'm getting somewhere, that this agent seems to be working. It's working on me. I'm still here. Has been self-reinforcing. So I'm very, very grateful to that, to the drug company, Servier, and to UCSF, my team. Phase 1, 5+ years, almost 5 full years, starting my 6th year, comply with the directions that you're given by your physician. I would never shortcut myself, and I'd recommend all patients who are on this drug, and there are going to be tens of thousands of us, not to cut corners. The other thing is that long term, I think many of us are going to be surgically resected. We're going to have an operation. We're going to go straight to this drug. And that's absolutely revolutionary. But in order to give us ourselves as a group, those of us who are going to be taking us or are taking us, the best possible chance to be tracked and to understand what's going on with this drug long term, we have to give ourselves the best possible chance, as I keep saying. so that we can be tracked and we can honestly say we've done everything by the book. The other thing is long term, this is a therapy, and the pressure is not going to be reduced on the families and the loved ones of those people who are taking this drug. It's really, really important, in my opinion, for patients like myself, believe me, I've tried, to reach out to family and say, please avail yourself of the opportunities for the support that you obviously need, in my opinion, to deal with me and to get the support you need for a person who has long-term illness. This brain cancer is not going to go away. I mean, I'm assuming that if this drug fails, this therapy, my tumor will still kill me. That sounds pretty cruel, but I've been living with that for 13 years, expecting, oh my gosh, what happens with the next MRI? I've had 67 MRIs. That's a lot. And it's always very nice to hear Dr. Taylor saying it's stable, appears to be stable. But I know that for many of my fellow patients out there, sometimes the answer is it's growing. And I've been in that situation, of course. So I encourage you to get involved with support groups. Encourage you, if you possibly can, to get your family involved in support groups for themselves, and then have fruitful and honest discussions with your neuro-oncologist about how to help your family and yourself.